In the wild world of rap, it is not uncommon for artists' lives to collide with the law.
Kodak Black was arrested on drug charges in South Florida.
For Offset being detained and then released.
From shocking showdowns to unexpected twists, we dive deep into rappers' wildest moments with the police.
Bro, can you stop talking? Is that what rappers do? All you rappers know how to do is talk? Just shut up already.
Blueface. Rapper and reality TV star Blueface found himself in handcuffs on June 7th, 2023 in Las Vegas. He was nabbed for an alleged robbery, and this wasn't his only brush with the law that day. He was already in court facing a charge of attempted murder. In a video showing the arrest, we see undercover police officers swoop on him for the arrest. They handcuff him and lead him away as onlookers witness the arrest. Blueface's lawyer explained the scoop. Seems there was a warrant hanging over his head for a recent Palm Hotel incident where he was supposed to meet Floyd Mayweather. The whole thing revolved around a cell phone and a fan who was shooting a video of Blueface's friend, Christian. The lawyer's hopeful they can settle this swiftly and satisfactorily on top of his current rap sheet. As for that 2022 attempted murder accusation, that stemmed from a wild night at a Sin City joint called Euphoric Gentlemen's Club on October 8th. Some guy apparently cracked a few jokes about Blueface and some ladies he was speaking to. That didn't sit well with the LA rapper. Blue's crew allegedly beat up the man multiple times. Later, Blueface supposedly pulled out his gun and let loose on the guy's car as it sped away. Police say the man got a scrape on his left hand from a bullet, and his ride was punctured by multiple bullet holes. Meanwhile, the club's owner had a story too. He says Blue's gang-related activities that night forced him to shut shop. He was interested in getting some serious payback from Blue, like a lengthy jail time or a huge payday. On January 26, 2019, Blueface's track Thotiana hit the Billboard Hot 100 at number 75, marking his first entry on a Billboard chart. The song got a boost with remixes featuring YG and Cardi B, each with its own video. Blueface's single Stop Cappin' dropped on May 1st, 2019, pulling over 5 million YouTube views in 4 days. He joined XXL's 2019 freshman class on June 20th. In August, he dropped an EP called Dirtbag with guest spots from artists like The Game, Lil Pump, and more. Despite mixed reviews, it hit number 48 on the Billboard 200. Blueface then teased his debut album, Find the Beat, which faced delays and trademark issues. Eventually released in March 2020, it featured collaborations with artists like Lil Baby, DaBaby. Lil Uzi Vert even praised the album and offered to team up. In 2021, Blueface switched gears, opening a soul food joint named Blue's Fish and Soul in Santa Clara, California. DaBaby, a Miami Beach police interrogation video featuring DaBaby from 2021, has been made public. The footage captures the rapper's interview regarding a shooting that caused injuries. This incident unfolded outside Prime 112 restaurant in South Beach. Following questioning, DaBaby was released without charges. During the hour-long conversation, DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Kirk, firmly asserted that he acted in self-defense when confronted by 2 men trying to steal his group's vehicle and attacked them near Prime 112. He resisted officers' inquiries about carrying a weapon during the shooting, responding skeptically, suggesting they were trying to implicate him. DaBaby even declined to sign the Miranda rights document due to concerns that it might label him a suspect. Later, he signed an altered version of the document that replaced the word suspect with person. He recounted the situation where he noticed several white trucks parked outside Prime 112 as they left. The aggressors then aimed their truck at one of his friends. DaBaby, noticing the threat, attempted to retreat to his SUV and noticed the aggressors were armed. He then fired his shots in response. He mentioned, "They pointed the gun at me, this Hispanic dude. How would I know? I ain't telling y'all nothing. I ain't gonna repeat myself like a suspect. I got a great lawyer, so I'm telling y'all my side of the story so I can take my ass home." Earlier reports from Page 6 detailed that DaBaby and his group were in several SUVs when a car approached, leading to a confrontation that escalated into a shooting. DaBaby discharged a single round. Wisdom Akwanucha Awute, an artist with him, faced charges related to the incident. The video shows DaBaby being really strong about defending himself and explaining what happened in the shooting. You can see how he talked to the police and how he stuck to his story. He kept saying he acted to keep himself and his friends safe. You can feel the stress in the room as DaBaby talks to the police and insists on his rights and innocence. Offset. In July 2018, Offset, one of the Migos members, got arrested in Jonesboro, Arkansas after a traffic stop. He was driving a 2014 Porsche 911 Carrera and was pulled over for making an improper lane change at Upper Riverdale Road and Tara Boulevard. When the police came up to the car, they smelled marijuana. They found 3 handguns, a bit of marijuana, and over $107,000 in cash during a search. The body cam footage of the arrest showed Offset repeatedly protesting his innocence and explaining that they had made a mistake in the arrest.
I don't want to go through the media like I just got locked up for and I ain't do nothing, bro. Fuck my deals and up, bro.
Offset, whose real name is Kiari Kendrell Cephas, was with his bodyguard, Sine Gizon, who got arrested too. Offset faced a few charges: improper lane change, drug possession, possession of a weapon as a felon, and possession of a weapon while committing a crime. He got out on bail. Gizon also got charged with drug possession and possession of a weapon while committing a crime. Offset was on probation for 5 years due to an arrest in 2015 involving drugs and weapons. However, his lawyer said he actually got off probation early. In July 2019, it was reported that Offset won't be prosecuted for gun possession, drug, and traffic charges from a 2018 arrest in Jonesboro. The Clayton County District Attorney's Office dropped all the charges on July 1st because there was a bigger federal investigation that was ongoing. Even his bodyguard, Sine Gizon, was not prosecuted thanks to the federal investigation. The documents from the district attorney's office said they didn't want to mess up the big federal investigation by going forward with the charges. They also did not want to give away any info that could help other people who might be part of the bigger investigation. They didn't give any details about what that federal investigation is about. Offset and Quavo joined forces at the 2023 BET Awards, delivering a surprise performance to honor late bandmate Takeoff. The event featured a rocket-themed setup, with the two Migos members entering a spotlight enveloped in smoke and lasers. They danced to Takeoff's verse from Hotel Lobby, a track from their 2022 project Unk and Few. As the screen transitioned from a rocket to a picture of Takeoff, who tragically passed away at 28 in November 2022, they shouted, "Do it for Tay." The duo then rocked the stage with their chart-topping hit, Bad and Boujee, marking their first joint performance since Takeoff's passing and Offset's year-long hiatus from the stage. Cardi B, Offset's wife, proudly expressed her joy on Twitter. Kodak Black. In July 2022, rapper Kodak Black faced an arrest in South Florida. Known as Bill Capri, the artist was pulled over for driving a purple Dodge Durango with excessively dark tinted windows. Troopers discovered an expired registration and detected a strong marijuana odor. They conducted a search, uncovering 31 oxycodone tablets and almost $75,000 in cash. Following the arrest, he was released on a $75,000 bond. The footage from the arrest stretched to over an hour and revealed a myriad of emotions.
Pull up marijuana in the vehicle.
But you just gave me a few at that gas station. I was smoking.
If I can't weigh it, you're not gonna get charged with it.
The police initially made a deal not to charge him if they couldn't weigh the drugs found in the car. At a point, Kodak's mother arrived at the scene to plead for her son, even offering to take his place in the arrest.
What's up, Mom?
Give me that charge for me. What? Give me that charge for me.
No, mommy, chill. Don't do that, mommy, please.
The officers didn't agree to that, and they eventually drove Kodak away. Kodak Black faced charges of trafficking oxycodone and possessing a controlled substance. He pleaded not guilty and requested a jury trial. His attorney, Bradford Cohen, hinted at additional details supporting a defense. Black's legal team filed a motion to independently test the tablets identified as oxycodone by authorities. Originating from Pompano Beach, Florida, Black's career peaked in December 2018 with the chart-topping album Dying to Live. However, his success has been marred by recurring drug, weapon, sexual assault, and robbery charges. In a somewhat ironic Instagram post, he shared his mugshot with the caption, "Not again." In 2019, Black admitted guilt to federal weapons charges, acknowledging false statements on firearm background check forms. Guns connected to him were discovered at crime scenes. His 46-month prison term was cut short when former President Donald J. Trump commuted his sentence on his last day in office. After his release, Black released a track titled "Last Day In," reflecting his anticipation for a fresh beginning. "This my first day out the joint, so that's my last day in." But there's more to Kodak than his legal troubles. In October 2018, Kodak Black pitched in $10,000 for the Jack and Jill Children's Center, which focused on early children's education. He shared plans to construct a school in Haiti in November 2018. By December 20th, he funded gifts and an annual Christmas event for 150 kids at Paradise Child Care in Florida. Additionally, he gave $2,500 to honor a fallen South Carolina officer. In 2019, he donated $12,500 to help Page Cook distribute pencils and notebooks to over 7,600 low-income Texas students. After the STEM School Highlands Ranch tragedy, Kodak offered to cover Kendrick Ray Castillo's funeral and set up a $10,000 annual scholarship for science or engineering students. He's also said to have donated $50,000 to Gekumen, the son of his late friend and collaborator, XXXTentacion. King Von Valentine's Day is mostly regarded as a day of love, but for King Von, the 2018 Valentine was spent in the loving embrace of a policeman's handcuff. In December 2022, a body cam footage went viral for showing rapper King Von getting arrested in O Block. According date on the video, the arrest occurred sometime on the 15th of February, 2018. In the video, uniformed officers arrived on the scene where Vaughn had been arrested by an undercover police officer. The undercover officer goes on to explain the situation to those on uniform. The undercover officer also tells Vaughn what he was being charged with: battery to a police officer. Vaughn requested to be released to go enjoy his Valentine, but the police played deaf to this request. The details of this arrest is unclear, but Vaughn was no stranger to handcuffs. On November 21st, 2012, Vaughn got arrested and thrown into Cook County Jail for unlawful possession of a gun. Then, fast forward to April 2014, Vaughn was in the spotlight again. The police thought he might be involved in the shooting that took the life of 17-year-old Gakira K.I. Barnes, who was part of the Gangster Disciples crew. But the police couldn't pin anything on him due to some mixed-up stories from witnesses. July 24, 2014 brought more trouble for Bennett. He got arrested for a shooting that went down in May 2014 where Malcolm Stuckey died and 2 others got hurt. Bennett faced some heavy charges like first-degree murder and attempted murder, all related to that incident. And you won't believe it, when it finally went to court in 2017, the witnesses didn't spill the beans, so Vaughn walked free. Zoom to June 2019, Vaughn and Lil Durk ended up in handcuffs for another shooting, this time in Atlanta. Prosecutors said the 2 rappers robbed and shot a man named Alexander Witherspoon outside a popular drive-in spot. After spending a few weeks in jail, Durk made bail with $250,000, and Vaughn followed suit with a $300,000 bond. NBA YoungBoy. In the heart of Atlanta, something occurred on February 11, 2019, that caught everyone's attention. It was about Baton Rouge rapper NBA YoungBoy, whose legal name is Kentrell Gaulden. So the story goes like this. NBA YoungBoy was hanging out in the Hyatt House in downtown Atlanta with the mother of his child, Star Thigpen. They had a squabble with a housekeeper after they asked her to leave. See, the housekeeper walked into a room to tidy it up as she thought it was empty. To her surprise, NBA and Thigpen were there, and they weren't in the mood for room service. NBA asked Thigpen to throw out the housekeeper. Now things got messy. Thigpen apparently got physical with the housekeeper, even assaulting her. And as if that wasn't enough, the chaos spilled out into the hallway. It took a hotel employee rushing downstairs to get some backup to settle things down. The police arrived at the scene. Body cam footage showed Thigpen yelling as she was placed in handcuffs. NBA was also yelling, so the police handcuffed him as well. The couple's child was in the room while the police led them away. Thigpen screamed to see the child, but the police wouldn't let her. There were officers on ground to look after the child. One even commented that the room smelled of weed, indicating that the couple smoked while the child was in the hotel with them. NBA was up against charges including disorderly conduct for using aggressive language, physically obstructing others, and having a bit of marijuana. Thigpen, on the other hand, was charged with disorderly conduct involving violence towards another person, physically obstructing others, and also having a small amount of marijuana. But this wasn't NBA's first dance with the law. He got pinched in Florida under a Georgia warrant while he was on probation. Back in 2017, he pleaded guilty to an aggravated assault charge. The East Baton Rouge District Attorney Hiller Moore also confirmed that he was going to ask the court to yank NBA's probation because of the scene with the housekeeper. He filed the same motion when NBA got nabbed in Florida. However, his motion was denied and NBA stayed on probation. Both NBA and Thigpen were taken to the city of Atlanta jail. Boosie Badazz found himself in a real pickle when a routine Georgia traffic stop threw him off the rails. The body cam footage of the arrest was made public, and as you can guess, Boosie's reaction was anything but calm. The incident occurred in July 2022. Boosie was sitting on the passenger side in a black Cadillac SUV. 19-year-old Deshaun Lawrence was behind the wheel, but soon they got pulled over. Why? The window tint was way too dark and the license plates were concealed. Now, the plot thickens. Cops catch a whiff of that unmistakable smell, drugs. They decide to have a peek around the vehicle, and what do they stumble upon? A stack of cash and a bag of weed. Cue the handcuffs for Boosie and Lawrence, and they're instructed to stand by the side of the car. Boosie's patience was running low. He let off some steam, telling the officers he was just trying to escape the city life for the calm of rural Georgia. He's all about love, not war. But then, he goes off about how he spent nearly 6 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, and he's ready to kick up a storm, whether that's with his fists, his spit, or some legal moves. Hold on, it gets weirder. Boosie starts boasting about having a full-on party at his place with 35 women doing their thing. Yeah, you could say he was in a mood. Finally, a twist in the tale. Lawrence took one for the team, owning up to the weed. He gets a ticket, and just like that, they're both free birds again. Watch Boosie's mood do a complete 180 as he hears the news. The cops might have taken the weed, but they spared Boosie the jail cell. Boosie's no stranger to prison time, having seen the inside of those walls on multiple occasions. Back in 2008, he got nabbed when cops stumbled upon weed and a gun in his car. He owned up and got slapped with a 2-year sentence. But things went south when he breached probation, doubling his time behind bars. Fast forward to 2010, he faced a murder rap and 3 narcotics possession charges, potentially staring at the death penalty. Eventually, the judge found him not guilty. Then 2011 rolled in with an 8-year sentence due to drug smuggling conspiracy. Pleading guilty got him locked up, but in 2012, his lawyer played the setup card and he walked out in 2014. Lil Pump. It was in December 2018. There was Lil Pump, all set for his flight from Miami to LA, probably thinking about the palm trees and sunny beaches awaiting him, but the whole thing went left before it even took off. As the story goes, Pump and his crew were already on the plane, seatbelts fastened and all that. Ready for takeoff, right? Nope. A flight attendant comes up to them saying there's a hiccup. Next thing you know, the crew's asked to leave the plane, and the police are waiting for them in the terminal. Apparently, someone smelled something fishy coming from one of the bags, the distinctive scent of weed, and guess whose name was on the bag? Pump's government name, Garcia. So, the police are in the mix having a chat with Pump.
On my bag, you can go look in the cameras. I swear to God, I put it on my mom that I die right now. I did not walk in with that fucking bag. And you guys are not gonna walk over and tell me that that's not my bag, bro. That's not my bag. That's not my bag. That's not my bag.
I don't care.
That's my bag.
It's your bag
You're
now.
not gonna convince me that that's my bag.
The rapper repeatedly claimed that the bag in question did not belong to him, but the police weren't buying it. Here's the twist. No actual drugs were found in the bag, but here's where it takes another turn. The encounter with TSA and the airline crew got a bit heated. Words were exchanged and things got disruptive. Pump and his manager ended up getting arrested and charged with disorderly conduct, but the duo pleaded not guilty to the charges. Lil Pump didn't back down. In February 2019, there were reports that he was ready to take on the police department that nabbed him at Miami International Airport the last December. Pump was all fired up because the video of his airport arrest suddenly blew up the internet and he chose not to let it slide. The rapper hopped onto Instagram and dropped a major bombshell. He was slapping a lawsuit right onto the police's doorstep, and he wanted them to be fully aware. Pump didn't mince his words either. He shared the video along with some fiery text that even had a pig emoji. He was especially pissed because one of the policemen had used the words, "It's your bag now."
That's not my bag.
I don't care.
That's my bag.
It's your bag
You're
now.
not gonna convince me that that's my bag.
The December 2018 scene wasn't Pump's first tangle with the law. Just a few months earlier, he got into a similar pickle in Denmark. They found weed on him that time, and now he and his crew are barred from the country. Polo G. In the early hours of a Saturday morning, June 12, 2021, the spotlight shifted from the stage to the police station as rapper Polo G found himself in a whirlwind of legal troubles in Miami, Florida. The rapper received multiple charges, as documented by the Miami-Dade County Corrections records. Known by his birth name Taurus Bartlett, the artist was hit with a series of charges that painted a grim picture: battery on a police officer, threats against a public servant, resisting arrest with and without violence, and criminal mischief. The Miami Police Department took to Twitter to acknowledge the incident, making it clear that Polo G was not alone in this encounter with the law. Another young individual was involved, setting the stage for a developing story that held the attention of a curious public. The department also assured everyone that a comprehensive review of the incident was in motion, including a meticulous analysis of camera footage to ensure adherence to protocols and laws. Polo G was unruly after the arrest. The footage captured his voice insulting the police officer on the scene and calling him broke.
You know where I worked for almost 4 years? I worked in overtime, buddy.
You worked that overtime to still be broke.
Although the exact reasons for Polo's arrest weren't clear, his mom, Stacia Mack, was quick to speak up. In a sincere tweet to the Miami police, she asked where her sons were and shared that her son was just a passenger in a car with all the right paperwork and safety measures. Polo was in jail, and things had changed for him once again. He was held in the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center, and he needed to pay $19,500 to get out. This was a big difference from the good things that had been happening to him since he started his music career in 2019. He had done really well with his songs, getting 10 of them on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. One of his songs, Rap Star, even reached #1 on the chart in April 2021, but now his situation was very different. NLE Choppa. Over in Davie, Florida, the world of rapper NLE Choppa, aka Bryson LaShoon Potts, took a detour into the unexpected as he found himself in a situation that nobody would want to be in. Well, this time, it's not about his music making headlines, but a brush with the law that's got people talking. According to reports, Choppa was arrested in March 2021. The laundry list of charges he faced doesn't make for pleasant reading either. Carrying a concealed firearm, having Xanax and cannabis in his possession, and even being charged with burglary of an empty building. Quite the lineup, isn't it? The story, as recounted by an arrest report, paints a picture of a curious incident. Choppa allegedly told the police that he wanted to retrieve a watch from a vehicle that was in a tow yard. Now here's where things get interesting. The police dispatcher was keeping a watchful eye on a live camera feed and saw two cars enter into the tow yard's parking lot despite the place being closed. Choppa and his companions got down from the cars, hopped the fence, and decided to take a leisurely walk around the entire tow yard before eventually hopping back into their vehicles. The police arrived soon after to make the arrest. During the arrest, the officers caught sight of something alarming. Two guns, not just any guns mind you, but a Glock 27 armed with an extended magazine and an AK-47 Draco pistol, both loaded to the brim. Curiously, neither of them claimed ownership or admitted knowledge of the firearms. If that wasn't enough, a backpack was thrown into the mix, housing 7 grams of marijuana and a trio of Xanax pills. But Choppa has come a long way since then. In June 2020, NLE Choppa welcomed his first child, a daughter. He admitted, "Having my daughter made me realize I had to become a better person." In August of the same year, he started a YouTube channel, Awakened Choppa, sharing his journey toward a healthier lifestyle, including going vegan and exploring gardening. Having spent time in a juvenile detention center, he revealed that the experience spurred him to change for the better. He described his time behind bars as an eye-opener in an episode of his YouTube series, The Rise of NLE Choppa. In an interesting turn on June 9, 2021, NLE Choppa claimed to have helped cure a girl's cancer, though there was no concrete evidence supporting his assertion. Tragedy struck in March 2022 when NLE Choppa shared the heart-wrenching news of him and his then-girlfriend, Marissa Denay, losing their unborn son, 7, due to a miscarriage. From becoming a dad to experiencing legal entanglements and personal loss, NLE Choppa's journey has been a roller coaster, with ups, downs, and unexpected turns. Through it all, he's shown a mix of growth, introspection, and challenges that many can relate to. G Herbo. In April 2019, G Herbo found himself in the legal spotlight when Atlanta police took him into custody. The charges: battery. The situation unfolded after a woman dialed for help, detailing a disturbing incident involving the rapper. She explained that a verbal disagreement with the father of her child had escalated, resulting in an assault before he left with their son. The aftermath left the woman with minor scratches, an unpleasant reminder of the altercation. The incident could be linked to an earlier encounter between G Herbo and his ex-girlfriend, Ariana Fletcher. The whole ordeal was caught on camera, casting a shadow over the rapper's reputation.
I'll be there in a minute, okay? Go inside.
The video showed Fletcher raging against Herbo, who was handcuffed by the police. Fletcher retrieved their son from a vehicle before moving back to her house. Herbo defended himself, saying that she had made off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of his possession, but he did not want to press charges against her. This wasn't G Herbo's first interaction with the law, though. Back in February 2018, the 23-year-old artist had a run-in with the police. He, along with 2 companions, faced arrest when their limousine driver tipped off authorities about the presence of weapons. Later, the story between Herbo and Fletcher took a new twist as he entered a guilty plea for 1 count of misdemeanor battery. The court sentenced him to 12 months of probation, community service, and a mandatory family violence prevention course. It's a step toward resolution, but the incident's impact on his life and career remains. Upon hearing about the guilty plea, G Herbo's attorney, Tanya Miller, emphasized his eagerness to move forward and put the incident behind him. Miller conveyed that the rapper aimed to maintain harmony while managing his responsibilities to his family and the community. She painted a picture of a young man with great potential and a bright future, rooted in both his artistic endeavors and community involvement. G Herbo was eventually released on a $2,000 bond. Foolio. Rolling into Jacksonville, Florida, let's dive into the tangled tale of rapper Charles Jones, better known as Foolio. A body cam video gives us a front row seat to the events of his arrest. It all began when the police spotted Foolio cruising in a heavily tinted Dodge Durango on Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway. A claimed window tint violation and felony fleeing prompted the officers to pull him over. Foolio was placed under house arrest following the same traffic stop. His legal team challenged the handling of the stop in court. His attorney, Louis Fusco, argues that his client didn't try to flee from the police. He brought the car to a halt over a span of about 300 feet. The body cam footage doesn't offer a clear initiation point of the stop, but it does show Foolio stopping after 43 seconds, stepping out with his hands up. Foolio's attorney, Louis Fusco, pointed out Assistant State Attorney Leah Owens' involvement. According to Fusco, the body cam footage captures Owens arriving at the scene, searching Foolio's car, and advising the officers to make an arrest. But here's the twist. Owens claimed that she was merely following protocol. She stated that, just like in homicide cases, her presence was crucial, though she insists she didn't physically search the vehicle. The video seems to support her claim, showing her peering into the car with its doors wide open. According to Fusco, the footage revealed a different story, one where Owens wasn't investigating a crime scene but was rather present at a civil traffic stop for a surprisingly long 2.5 hours. He argues that this aligns with the fact that the team spent 4 hours on the scene before making an arrest. Seeking to dig deeper, Fusco issued a subpoena to depose Owens about the incident. However, Owens pushed back, stating that she didn't participate in Foolio's interview and that such a deposition would be burdensome due to her role's investigatory nature. Behind the scenes, the state attorney's office stood firm, asserting that Owens' actions were well within her role's ethical boundaries. SpotemGottem, Florida's music scene often ablaze with its own unique stories, saw rapper SpotemGottem making headlines in June 2022 for quite the aquatic adventure. But as thrilling as jet skiing in Miami sounds, his escapade didn't end well. The 20-year-old rapper, Nehemiah Harden, known as SpotemGottem, found himself in hot water, pun intended. Charges of reckless boat operation and fleeing police were slapped on him, adding an unexpected twist to his day. This wasn't SpotemGottem's first brush with the law, as he was already out on bond for a case involving aggravated assault and firearm possession by a convicted felon. His real-life escapades seemed like they could have been plucked straight out of a dramatic screenplay. As the story goes, an officer spotted SpotemGottem zipping around on his jet ski near Miami Marine Stadium. Allegedly, he was pushing the speed limits in a restricted zone and executing daring maneuvers that danced dangerously close to anchored boats. When the police officer flicked on the emergency lights and attempted to initiate a traffic stop, SpotemGottem reportedly did the opposite. Ignoring the request, he accelerated the jet ski, weaving through the watercraft with disregard. But the chase wasn't destined to be a Hollywood-style getaway. Eventually, SpotemGottem's aquatic antics came to an end, and he was apprehended. According to the arrest report, his actions demonstrated a complete disregard for the safety of both people and property, steering his jet ski in a manner that endangered others. Despite his initial attempt to flee, the footage of his arrest showed that Spotem was surprisingly cooperative with the authorities after the arrest. He was later slapped with a 1-year probation following the incident. The rapper has had more encounters with the law. Back in the summer of 2021, SpotemGottem found himself in cuffs, arrested by U.S. federal marshals for his alleged involvement in an assault case. In that incident, he was accused of pointing a gun with a laser at a garage attendant over a $80 fee. This marked the beginning of his legal woes, resulting in charges of aggravated assault and firearm possession. Despite the accusations, SpotemGottem pleaded not guilty. Adding a dash of drama just a couple of months after his initial arrest, gunfire erupted while SpotemGottem was driving along a Miami highway. The result? His hip took a bullet, and the car, riddled with 22 bullet holes on their driver's side, bore the scars of the violent encounter. Another passenger in the back seat wasn't spared either, sustaining gunshot wounds to both legs. The life of SpotemGottem seems like a mix of high-octane adventures and legal battles, turning his narrative into a roller coaster ride that no one could have predicted. Within the rap game, police encounters spin stories of highs and lows, and we've guided you through this captivating whirlwind. Explore more engaging videos by clicking the links on your screen.